Welcome to Global One Media Stocks to Watch. I'm Michael Swido. Today we take a deep dive into the world of digital marketing. My guest is Omri Brill. He's the founder and CEO of a Canadian-listed company called Adcore. Omri, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's always good to be here, Michael.
Now, you founded Adcore back in 2006. Your background, though, as I understand it, is in industrial engineering. So I'm wondering, what inspired you to enter the world of digital marketing?
It's a good question. I would say industrial engineering nowadays got a lot to do with data, right? With the software, with analyzing data. And I think actually what Adcore doing is very unique, right? We're working with data, we're working with software, we're working with technology from one end, but we're also working with people. Marketing is people first and foremost. And when you can combine the two together in a product like Adcore develop, in a company like Adcore, that's actually put a lot of my expertise into work. So I think Adcore is a great place to be, and obviously I like to be here every day.
Interesting. And I know when you started Adcore, Google Ads didn't even exist yet. Clearly, the landscape has changed a lot since then, and you've had to adapt. But I'm going to venture to say that your philosophy has remained the same, which is that marketing should be effortless and accessible to everyone. I'm wondering, how do you do that, particularly in a world where search and social media algorithms are constantly changing?
It's a good question that covers a lot. I'm old, but not so old. So Google Ads exist, but it was very early days for Google Ads. And we've been one of the pioneers, especially in this part of the world, to start using Google Ads. And we feel very lucky about it. And Google being, I would say, our number one partner today. Say that, obviously, even though the company, I would say, mission statement, which is effortless marketing, remain the same, obviously the way to accomplish it changed a lot because the industry changed. And you need to change together with the industries. There's so many changes, I can't even count them all, but just to give an example, AI, obviously it's a game changer. You need to adapt, you need to use AI and to use it to your benefits and to your clients' benefits. So I think we need to change all the way. The tools that we are using are changing, but the philosophy and the company mission remain the same, which is effortless marketing. And obviously, so the client need to put as little effort as he can and get maximum result for his advertising dollar.
Well, that's certainly how I'd like to do it, as little effort as possible, and like you say, get those results. You mentioned AI, so let's talk about that. I understand you're using artificial intelligence quite a bit. How exactly are you using it?
So we're using AI in multiple forms. Obviously, we try to implement AI into our core technology. So obviously, a lot of the stuff that we could have done or couldn't even done before, we now can do very easily using AI, whether it's algorithm replacement, whether it's text enrichment, which AI seems to be very good at it. So that's some of the stuff that we're doing with AI. We can analyze, let's say, communication and give some flags if we think there's anything that they require attention from, let's say, from the support team. That's another example. And obviously, as a company, we use an AI for our day-to-day operation, whether it's to write email, to create content, to even nowadays create images, create videos. So AI become a very important component of the company day-to-day and also in the core technology of the company as well.
AI, it's still relatively new and companies are trying to figure out how to use it. What advice would you give your clients or people watching this right now when it comes to marketing in terms of how they should or should not use AI?
It's a good question. I don't know even if you have one good answer for it, but I would say the following. Obviously, you should use AI. This almost goes without saying. And you can get a lot of great ideas, a lot of great copies from AI. But you also need to be, I would say, a bit cautious for not to be too AI-ish, in a sense that the content won't become real and people will notice it, and it's become use slogans that AI like to use a lot, unleash, reveal, and it's become, in the end of the day, marketing need to be real. And if people think that you are, not real with them, it's not going to fly. And so always keep it real. That's the biggest advice that I can give people. So use an AI, but keep it real.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. Keep it real, keep it authentic. I've seen some examples out there where people have used AI and they create these flashy images, and then what they're selling or the event they're promoting is nothing like that. And people know that, and then you get a lot of really bad feedback afterwards. So keep it real. Let's talk a bit more about your all specific services. Give us an overview now of the Adcore Marketing Cloud.
Okay, so actually we launched the Adcore Marketing Cloud around two years ago, and the concept was to put all of the company different apps and technology under one roof. So we took, let's say, we like what Adobe, for example, did with the Adobe Creative Cloud. So they put a lot of different, let's say, tools and apps that related to designer and put it under one roof, which is the Adobe Creative Cloud. And we say, we need to do it for marketers. So if designer can have a cloud like that, why shouldn't marketer have something similar? And that's why, that I would say the dream and the concept behind the Adcore Marketing Cloud. To that, we have 8 or 9 different apps already within this cloud, and we continue to develop and bringing more apps on board. So ideally, the more the cloud going to grow, the more value you can get from an access to this cloud. And this today, we have apps from very different, let's say, backgrounds. So we have feed editing apps like Feeditor or Feeditor Plus. We have reporting and data analyst apps like Alerter and Semdoc, for example, and we have other apps as well. So basically, the diversification, being able to bring value for different type of, let's say, marketing components is critical. Because in the end of the day, marketing contains a lot of different, let's say, moving parts, and you want to be able to deliver value to most of them at least.
So can I use a cloud both to create the ads, to create the marketing, as well as to monitor it?
Absolutely. And also to fund it, even to open the account, if you use, let's say, one of our fastest growing apps, for example, Media Blast, that help you, let's say, to open an account, to fund, to budget your account, to put capital into your account and stuff like that. So for very early beginning of, let's say, starting the account, putting budget or money into the account to create the ads and obviously monitor the ads, etc. So the full cycle of marketing.
Fantastic. So speaking about ad and the ad spends, what sort of improvement might I see in my ad spend if I'm using the Adcore Marketing Cloud?
Okay, so Adcore Marketing Cloud contain multiple apps. So obviously each app can contribute different value. Some apps you can consider them a bit more like vitamins, like you say. So if you're going to use this app, you're going to get better results, maybe better ROAS, maybe more volume and stuff like that. And some apps are actually like medicine, right? So if you want to have, let's say, an app like Media Plus, for example, maybe you won't be able to open your account or to send money to this specific account. So it's not only making your ads running better, but it's also to enable them from the get-go, for example.
I want to take a closer look now at your business and at the investment side of the equation. Adcore has offices in 5 cities, in Hong Kong, Melbourne, Shanghai, Tel Aviv, and Toronto. You were the first Israeli company to list on the Toronto Stock Exchange. That was back in 2021. Congratulations on that. More recently, if we look at the stock, Adcore shares are trading up nearly 50% above their 52-week low. That was last December. That really is quite a rally. The stock, though, is approaching the high end of that 52-week range. So, Omri, tell us, why should investors buy in now? Why do you think Adcore is a stock to watch?
It's a good question. I would say the following. Still, even with this nice rallies that you mentioned, it's fairly undervalued. I think, like, if you look at the multiples and you look at the peer multiples, that still there's a very big upside into the stock and into the Adcore story. We're just getting started. So as you know, market wasn't very nice recently, especially for the recent years for small cap companies, even mid cap companies. And I think what we started to see is, I would say, the spring of, let's say, mid cap. Maybe now we're going to start the spring of small cap as well. So I think, like, Adcore is a very solid company. We have excellent numbers. We have a very strong balance sheet. And now when things going to start to get a bit better, then Adcore can bounce a lot. Also bear in mind that we've been very busy buying stock in the market for Constellation. We bought over 4 million stock for Constellation in the past 2 years or so. So we created, in a sense, a bit of a shorter in stock as well. So when you're going to see an uptick, the potential for an uptick can be even a bit more aggressive because the buybacks that we did in the past 2 years.
So you have the buybacks, you have the data, and I think the headline, what I just took from what you said, is we're just getting started. So I wish you good luck going forward.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be here, Michael.
We look forward to welcoming you back in the program again soon, I hope. We've been speaking with Adcore CEO Omri Brill, and you've been watching Global One Media's Stocks to Watch. I'm Michael Suido.